Hello and welcome to another episode of The Slip Cordon. I'm Isabel Joyce and today I'm joined by Leinster Lightning captain George Dockrell and veteran bowler Tyrone Kane. Am I allowed to call you a veteran, Tyrone?
I think I'm getting there now. Unfortunately, I think I've gone over to the oldies, youngies in the football. I've had to do a transfer to the oldies, so that was pretty tough to take.
When did that come about?
We're in Southampton anyway with Ireland, and then I think even last season with the Lightning, I think I slotted in there up front for the oldies. Not much movement, unfortunately.
No, well, that's your prerogative as one of the oldies, I guess. And George, you're excited to get going with Leinster Lightning again. You've had a few successful years.
Yeah, delighted to get into it. I think we were all a little bit worried with COVID whether we were going to miss a whole season and what amount of cricket we would actually get in. But fantastic that we're going to get a chance to play some games and then to get back out there and fight for a couple of trophies. So I think all the guys are really, really excited to get into it. And yeah, can't wait to get started.
Does this season feel a little bit like a bonus compared with what you might have been thinking we'd get a few months ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the guys are kind of playing with a little bit more freedom as well at the moment. It's such a nice time to kind of think about your cricket, about your game and things like that. And then when you do come out, I think people are a lot more energised and are a little bit clearer maybe in what they want from cricket and from their roles and things like that. So I think it's actually really, really nice time to be going out and playing. And I think people are kind of learning a little bit more as well when they do it. So I think it's definitely feels like that, and I think we're all just, as I said, delighted to be competing again.
The competition has matured, Tyrone, and you've been there for a number of years, as I mentioned earlier. Do you feel like the hunger is still there for Leinster Lightning, considering how successful the team has been since the conception of the tournament?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the 8th year now, I think. So I played in the very first game. I think it's the exact same hunger. There's newcomers coming through all the time, so I think that keeps it quite fresh, and everybody wants to do well. I think we've won 18 of the 21 trophies that have been on offer, so I think that shows that the hunger is still there. And I think every year we set out our goals that we want to win all three, and I think that's going forward. I think that's going to be the way for even us and the young players coming through. That's what they want to do, is win all the trophies that they can.
Yeah, I think it's 17 out of 21, but still a really good strike rate for Leinster Lightning.
Like you see in that actual one. It's good.
Yeah, it was the T20 last year. I think that's, you want to claim back that trophy. Do you think that the competition is getting a bit tighter, George?
Definitely. I think, it's fantastic over the last number of years. We've had more and more guys coming back from England and making the competition stronger and stronger. Plus, I think there's a lot of young guys coming through now through the system, getting a lot of great cricket, who are kind of going away from the Lightning, especially. And I think you see every single year, every team just gets that little bit stronger, which is fantastic. Again, having Paul Sterling back this year would make the competition better again. Plus, new additions like Curtis Camphora. And I think it's having more and more players added to it. It's only going to make it better. And I think from our point of view as well, it does make it tougher. I think the other teams are getting stronger every year. So for us, we have to keep trying to raise that bar and keep pushing them as well to be better.
We'll come back to Curtis a little bit later, but Tyrone, I don't know if you've noticed that a couple of youngsters from Leinster have been picked up by some of the others, the NCU and the Munster Reds. Do you think that shows the strength of competition in Leinster and also gives meaning to those kinds of challenge matches that Cricket Ireland have been putting on recently?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant that all players, Leinster or anybody else, get an opportunity to play in these games. So it just goes to show that all these academy games and everything you play for there's something on it. And if you do well in a couple of games, you're able to sneak into the Interpros. And once you get on that stage, then the world is your oyster. If you do well, then it leads on to other things. So the Leinster line is very strong. So for all our players to get the experience to play somewhere else, and then if they do well, then hopefully they can forge their way into the Leinster Lightning. So the more Leinster Lightning players that are playing, I think the better.
11 of the 13 that have been named in the two squads were in England with the Ireland team training for the England games. Are you guys almost ready to get back into cricket here? What was that experience like? We'll come to you first, George.
Yeah, it's very unique. Obviously nothing like that ever before, and not sure how many tours we'll do in our lives like that, but credit to ECB in the way they kind of ran everything. It was very, very well done. And again, incredibly competitive. We kind of come out of lockdown and spent that whole period building up to it. Training just to get into those, to get into the squad, get into the team for those games. And it was, again, some of the competitive training we've ever had. So it was fantastic in that sense. And yeah, kept going all the way up until the last ODI. I think it's unique having that many players around all the time. Normally you're dealing with a smaller squad. But at the same time, I think, again, the competition for places was even better when suddenly it's that many players away on a trip. So for me, I thought it was actually brilliant having that many guys together, and the kind of thing that obviously probably a lot more costly to do it that way. But if you could do that more often, I think it would be superb for everyone involved.
And Tyrone, if you don't mind, could you maybe walk us through what it was like, first of all, getting over to England in the bubble, and what it was like for the players there, what it actually looks like for people at home who kind of wonder what is a bio bubble in the Aegeosphere?
Yeah, so we hit a bit of a turbulence, you could say. First of all, we were on a private plane just because we couldn't come across any of the public people, and we missed our time slot to get into Southampton Airport. So we ended up having to go to Birmingham and getting the bus down. So that wasn't a great start. But then once we got to the Hilton, we had to go through a temperature check, I think fill out a form. And we'd already previously checked in. So you just go with a digital key straight up to your room. And then we had to stay there, get a COVID test the next morning, and make sure you tested negative for COVID. And then you're allowed to train the next day. And then all the time we had a GPS kind of accreditation on our necks, and then masks the whole time. So I think, I'm not sure if you probably went out of bounds, something like would click off in the GPS. So that probably wasn't ideal, but thankfully everybody stayed where they should be. And yeah, that was it really. I think you kind of got used to it, filling out the forms and everything like that. So it actually ran pretty smoothly. I found that I didn't really notice it too much.
I suppose having that number of players around meant you didn't get too bored or irritated with each other. Back to things at hand, we're playing, Leinster Lightning are playing the Munster Reds on Thursday. A little bit of a possible banana skin there, George. We've had one loss to the Munster Reds a couple of years ago, so will you be keeping a close eye on that one?
Yeah, I think all the teams in the competition are strong, and I probably wouldn't even say banana skin in that sense. I think that Munster team have got potential to win a lot of games, which is great, and we've seen that over the years. They've won more and more as the competition's gone on and as they've been in it. So I think T20 cricket again, it's so exciting in that sense, because it just takes one player to come off that can flip a game in your favour, and so definitely a big game to start the competition with, and hopefully we can get a win.
Well, I mean, the rain is pelting down as we're talking, so hopefully it stops before Thursday. But we'll just come back to those games against England. And Tyrone, I'll ask you what was it like being? I know you were unfortunately on the sidelines watching Ireland beat England again, but having that second kind of big win over England, do you think it's a bit of a monkey off Ireland's back after 2011?
Yeah, I think so a bit. I think a couple of the guys are saying that maybe that puts 2011 kind of behind us, and now we can go forward with this kind of squad. And it was just a brilliant win to chase down a score like that, and for Sterling and Balbirnie to bat the way they did. It was a pleasure to watch, regardless if I wasn't playing or not. Just watching as a fan was absolutely amazing. And then for Harry and stuff to come in and get us across the line, it was almost like a new lease of life and stuff in the change rooms after the first two games. I think it just went to show, from being so far down and our backs against the wall and everybody writing us off, to being able to chase a score like that against what we're considered to be the world champions, regardless if there was a few players missing. It was just a joy to watch as a fan.
George, you were in that team in 2011. Where does this kind of rank as one of the best wins for Ireland?
Yeah, I think incredibly different. Again, the time period between the two wins, and also this was the setting. But as Tyrone said, it's kind of showing that this team now that we're putting together is learning quickly. We've had some great wins this year now. Afghanistan, West Indies, and England all in a year. It's a pretty good effort, and shows, I think, how much potential and how much this team can do moving forward. So I think it's very, very exciting to kind of see that. Again, seeing some of those young guys coming through, and probably seeing the kind of fruition of all these competitions, all these things, all these tours these guys have gone on, with Ireland A, plus, you know, the interprovincial stuff as well. And I think we're seeing now that these young guys coming through are in a better place than the generations before them, which is great to see. So I suppose, yeah, it's an exciting time to be following Irish cricket, and hopefully there's plenty more wins to come.
One of your Leinster Lightning teammates made his breakthrough performance in those games. Curtis Camphora is going to be one of the Lightning squad. Was he a bit of a fresh air to the team? In his interviews, he comes across as kind of can't believe his luck and just loving life, really.
Yeah, no, it was nice. You know, a number of us were out in South Africa when he made his Ireland A debut over the winter, so it was kind of nice to get to know him then and see him go about his business. He's obviously very young and kind of full of energy in that sense, and I think it is always nice when you have new guys coming into the environment. Everyone kind of sees things a little bit differently, and sometimes you can pick up a few things from that. And he's an incredibly organised player, and I think knows his game so well, and just brings a little bit of kind of different intensity about his cricket as well onto the pitch. So, you know, delighted to see him go so well and do as well as he did, and just, I suppose from a Leinster Lightning perspective, it's exciting to have him in our team.
Brilliant. And just coming back again now to all things in Leinster, we've got a big round of cricket coming up this weekend in the LHW Financial Planning Senior Cup. Both of you have teams, Leinster for George and Marion for Tyrone, that are in the A side of the draw. So George, coming to you first. Leinster are 2 wins out of 4, so pretty much out of the running for the semi-finals, but you've the chance to ruin prospects for Phoenix possibly. Is that something that you'd be looking to do?
Yeah, look, two games to go. You know, ideally be winning both of those, and I suppose it's good competitive competition, and if we have a chance, obviously beating Phoenix and knocking them out, it'll be good. And I think again, it'll be fantastic for us to finish the season with 2 wins. That's what we'll be trying to do.
And Trinity, of course, your former team, you'll be playing away to them in their 200th year. A massive season for them.
Yeah, like Trinity is obviously an incredibly special club, and feel very, very lucky to have played for them for a number of seasons. So we're playing Trinity in College Park this weekend, and very excited for that fixture. And again, hopefully can get a win, which will lead into that last game.
And Tyrone, things a little bit more simple for you and Marion. 4 wins out of 5, but a possible banana skin this weekend or against Rush. So you need to win that to go through. They'll be delighted to have you back in, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back and seeing all the lads. I think we hit a bit of a stumbling block against Pembroke last week, but other than that, I think we've been going pretty well by the sounds of things. And as long as it's in our own hands, then hopefully we can get over the line. And playing against Rush, out in Rush, I'm sure there'll be a pretty high score with plenty of sixes. So again, I don't know about a potential banana skin, but I'm sure they've been going quite well, and they've got some exciting players. And in T20, as George said before, it only takes 1 or 2 players to come off and you're on the wrong side of a result. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting going, and I think that's going to be my first match of the season, and we're in August, so we'll see how we go.
It's that type of year. I'm sure that Marion lads will be glad to hear you say that it's not a potential banana skin, but we'll be watching this next week and wondering if it was which way it went. So on the other side of the draw, it's a little bit more to play for. We've got a couple of teams up the top. Malahide and YMCA both have 4 out of 5, but they play each other this weekend, so one of those will stay at 4. While Railway also have 4, they take on 4th place Clontarf, who will be looking to make a late run after two losses first up. So lots to play for, and really this weekend will give us a good idea what will be happening a bit later on in the competition. So look, thank you so much to both of you for coming on. Best of luck to Leinster Lightning in both the T20 and the 50 over competitions. That doesn't start for Leinster until the 17th of September, but we're watching it closely. And hopefully the rain stays away. Thanks again.
Cheers, thank you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Slip Cordon. This evening I'm joined by Sophie MacMahon from Leinster, Robyn Lewis from YMCA and Caoimhe McCann from Malahide. Welcome guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Sophie.
Thanks for coming on. So Sophie, I'm going to come to you first. Leinster have been doing really well, as is the norm these years. And you are in first position in Division 1 with 2 games to go. Hopefully the weather holds off tomorrow, and if you manage to get a game in and get a win, then the trophy is yours. So tell us about the season for you guys and what's made it such a successful one for you.
Well, I suppose we lost a few players at the start of the season, which gave a lot of the young girls a chance to step up and probably take some more senior roles than they would have before. And to be honest, they all just did really well. Like the likes of Ava Canning, I know she's broken her ankle now, but before that, Jenny Sparrow and Maria Harrison all bowling their 4 overs every game, which they might not have done in previous seasons. They're all doing really well. And then batting wise, we've been lucky to have the experience of Rebecca Rolfe, who has kind of come back into the first this season, and she's having a really good season. And then Ellen Ridgway at the top of the order as well is doing pretty well. And then of course Lord Delaney, I think she hasn't been given out in any of the club games yet, so that's obviously a great bonus for us to have her experience as well. So yeah, everyone's kind of just come together really well after the break. I think everyone was just so happy to be back playing cricket, and they're just enjoying it loads. So yeah, it's nice to get some wins on the board so far.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Rebecca. She's come back after a few seasons out, and it must be great to in this kind of circumstance when you do lose a few players, no overseas players obviously, to have someone with her experience in Leinster cricket coming back in.
Oh, absolutely. Apart from myself, I suppose I could be called one of the old ones now, and Laura Delaney, the rest are all pretty young. So yeah, having someone like her who's obviously played for Ireland before and has so much experience is just so helpful for the younger girls. And obviously she's just such a great personality as well, and the girls love her. So yeah, she's a great person to have on the team.
Yeah, always brings a smile to everyone's face whenever she's playing. Robyn, for YMCA, you've had a kind of a mixed season, but you must be pleased with kind of how some of the young you're coaching. I should have mentioned first, and in that role, you must be pleased with how some of the younger players are coming on, with the likes of Siún Woods performing last week against Malahide.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I think in YM it's different, of course, this season because we're used to having someone come in from overseas, so we haven't had that this season. So obviously I've been the oldest to play on our team at 21, so we've had a really young team, but it's been nice to give the younger girls a go. I think Siún Woods has done extremely well with the bat, and she's taken up the gloves this year. She's been superb for us. And Kate McAvoy also has come into her own this year, and I think she's had a go at Super 2s now. So we've been unlucky. I know we played against Malahide last week, and it came to a last ball of the over finish, but they just had the difference. But yeah, I know we had a good win against Clontarf as well, and we've just been unlucky against Mary and Leinster and Pembroke. But no, I think I'm really proud of the girls this year, and look, hopefully next season we can take a win.
That experience for those girls really stand you in the years to come, and hopefully keep really competitive players in the game moving forward, which I think is super important. Caoimhe, they're probably about where you guys were 1 or 2 years ago with a really young group coming through with some performances, but you guys have managed 3 out of 5 wins this year, with some absolutely outstanding wins. Do you feel like 2021, maybe 2022, it's Malahide to keep an eye on maybe for the league?
Yeah, maybe, who knows. We just hope like all the girls play together. Like we're just a team mates really. So if everyone stays together and have fun, like that's what we are. And that's why everyone is like, we're doing okay, because everyone keeps coming down to training, keeps wanting to play with each other. So it makes things easier. Even though we're young, everyone being the same age kind of helps out.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you're really just going down to training or matches to see your friends. That really helps. And Sophie, a bit of a mix in the ages in Leinster, but a lot of success over the last few years, with your first, seconds and thirds taking the league last year. First in pole position, seconds still in with a chance of winning. What do you think is the secret to Leinster's success in recent years?
I think, I know, as you said, there's a broad group of ages, but most of the girls have been playing for a long time, and they've just kept at it, and they've been building. Like our seconds team have probably been the same players for the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say. So it's kind of been a long time coming, but they've all just, they've worked hard and they've been given their chances, and they're starting to take them now, and obviously we're seeing the success. So it's just good to see everyone continuing to play and enjoy it.
Yeah, it is unusual in women's cricket to have a very settled seconds team, so really lucky to have that. And Caoimhe, you've had a breakout performer in Amy Hunter this year, but you've lots of other players who've been performing as well. Who else should we be looking out for coming into 2021?
Yeah, we have a few on the seconds who've been doing well. Gemma, our keeper on the seconds, has been scoring some runs in her underage matches as well. And then Katie Brophy, I think, took a hat-trick the other night in their last game. Or maybe it wasn't their last game. It might be their last game, who knows. So, yeah, they've been doing well, and hopefully we'll jump up then on the first team next year.
And Robyn, plenty of YMCA players were present at Cricket Leinster's Oak Hill camp last week. Hopefully good reports, and you're finding the girls coming back even more keen to play.
Yeah, they said they absolutely loved it. I know I had some of the girls down in the academy the next day, and they were saying it was such a good experience to be able to play on grass and get a run out in centre wicket, and then to have, I know some of the girls went down, I think it was Gabby, Rebecca Stokel, and Delaney went down.
Yeah, Leah Paul as well.
Leah, yeah. They said that was really good to be able to get a chance to talk to them and, listen to them, which is really good for them as well.
Yeah, it was great for those senior players to see the younger generation coming through, see their future competition. And so we'll just take a look around the leagues as we come to the end of, I suppose, a shortened season, but an exciting one nonetheless. And as I mentioned, Leinster are in pole position, playing Clontarf tomorrow evening if the weather holds up. But if that game doesn't go ahead, you have the chance to take the trophy next week against YMCA, who are gunning for another win. So that'll be one to look out for, especially if you don't manage to get the game in tomorrow. Marion are in second place, taking on Malahide tomorrow evening, and then they finish with Pembroke. So if Leinster slip up, then Marion are ready to take the spoils. And behind them they have Pembroke. So it's pretty close. Leinster are very well ahead, but after that it's very close between Marion, Pembroke and Malahide, which is great to see, what you want to see in Division 1 cricket. Coming to Division 2, Rush have been conquering all before them, so they're in first place with 4 out of 4, and then it's that Leinster seconds team that Sophie mentioned that are in second place, and of course that league will go to playoffs. So you just have to be in the top 4, and then you give yourself a chance of winning that trophy. And that's the Sprint Coatings Division 2. And then Division 3, Pembroke are in the lead with their second team. Leinster thirds are in that division with all of their second teams and struggling a little bit, which is probably due to the fact that they're the only third team in that league. Rush seconds are second in that league, with Clontarf seconds coming third. And then we've got our new Division 4, which is Railway are leading that with 4 wins out of 5. And would you believe, and I don't know if you guys heard this, I only kind of discovered tonight, but they had a tie with Greystones. That's their only non-win.
Wow.
So Greystones are in second place. So a tie of, I think Railway managed to defend, or would we say defend, when you stop someone getting past your score, but you don't actually defend it. I'm not really sure the lingo, but an exciting league there with a couple of new teams joining that league. That's Division 4 with Marion seconds, Pembroke thirds, and Terranure having their first team. So that's as it stands for now. So Leinster looking good in Division 1, Rush in Division 2, and Pembroke in Division 3, with Railway certain to take Division 4. Sorry for putting you all through that now, girls. I suppose just to finish up, we'll just say thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck to Sophie in her game tomorrow night, and if you do manage to win that game, you lift the trophy. And if not, then it comes down to the last day. So the rain could make that league a little bit more exciting. Nonetheless, best of luck to the three of you in the rest of your outings. And that's it from the Slip Cordon for this week. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Izzy.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.